And my feet are gonna dance to the beat drop. Cause that's a love that I can't define. It's blowing my mind, it's changing my life. So come on and get moving. It doesn't really matter what mood you're in. When your body and your feet are grooving, then that's when the party begins. My hands are up, my arms are waving. My feet won't stop. My body's moving from side to side. Cause I'm alive, and nothing's gonna hold me back this time. Yeah, all my friends are here, and it's a party. It's time to turn it up. Let's get it started. Hands on high, cause we're alive, and nothing's gonna hold us back this time. Can't keep my body still, can't shut it down. This beat the feel, it's thumping, yeah, it's pumping, yeah, it's something that is thumping still. Everybody put your hands up, get a little louder, yeah, turn it up. You know how to do it, yeah, dance it up. Yeah, dance it up. My hands are up, my arms are waving. My feet won't stop. My body's moving from side to side. Cause I'm alive, and nothing's gonna hold me back this time. Yeah, all my friends are here, and it's a party. It's time to turn it up. Let's get it started. Hands on high, cause we're alive, and nothing's gonna hold us back this time. Do this dance with us, man. Put one hand up, turn around. Put two hands high, turn around. Bring them both down slow, and bring them down low. Here we go. Yeah. My hands are up, my arms are waving. My feet won't stop. My body's moving from side to side. Cause I'm alive, and nothing's gonna hold me back this time. Yeah, all my friends are here, and it's a party. It's time to turn it up. Let's get it started. Hands on high, cause we're alive, and nothing's gonna hold us back this time.
Well, I want to welcome you to Crossroads this morning. Good seeing everybody here. If you're out in the atrium, come on in. We're ready to get started. And if you are new to Crossroads today, or if you just come periodically, or if you're here every week, you're going to experience something this weekend, today, we have never done in 19 years here at Crossroads. It's right on the program, Student Takeover. Students, that's right. Students are taking over the entire weekend. Last night, all aspects of our service, leading us in worship. And the message today is going to be brought by our Director of Student Ministry, Lane Arakaki. So get ready for that. It's going to be fantastic. When the idea of Student Takeover came to our programming meeting a couple months ago, I couldn't wait. I knew this was coming for months, and I was hoping this place would be full because I know the quality of experience that goes on in the student ministry here. And so I would just say, open your heart, your mind. You're going to hear from God in a powerful way today. And I want you to stand right now. I want you to say good morning to everybody around you. And then hold on tight. It's Student Takeover.
sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus, my heart will sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus, my heart will sing no other name. Jesus, Jesus.
Will y'all just bow your heads and pray with me for a second? God, we just thank you so much for this chance to just come together in this house and worship you as a family and as your body. God, when we come into your presence with thanksgiving and praise, we remember how good you are, and our hearts are filled with your hope and your joy and your love. Help us to give our hearts and attention to you. We love you so much, Jesus. Amen.
There's nothing worth more that will ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. Your presence, Lord. I've tasted and seen, oh, the sweetest of loves, where my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. There's nothing worth more
no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. There's no place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. So set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. So set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more, God. Pour it down. I want more. 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 I want more, God. Pour it down. No set a fire down in my soul that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. There's no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be. Here in your love, here in your love.
Don't have to wonder your purpose or what you here for. Reflect his image and show the world what he cares for. And I know it's alright, right, right. You know, and you know it's your lie, lie, lie. And we know the time's running out. Can't wait around, cause yeah. Calling all messengers, calling all messengers, calling all messengers. I've been a lot of places where the scene ain't pretty. I seen plenty of hatred, death, and destruction where ignorance kills many. The blind leading the blind, we turning a blind eye. That alone is a crime. We got the power of life. I know that we make mistakes, don't let them keep you away. Mercy, love, and His grace, the reason we move ahead. Speak out, though we never been qualified to do it. I ain't earned it, I was loved into it. I'm brand new, yeah. And I know it's alright, right, right. And you know it's your lie, lie, lie. And we know the time's running out. Can't wait around, cause yeah. Calling all messengers, calling all messengers, calling all messengers.
of what happened at Kids Camp this summer. So thanks to all of our leaders, both adults and students, who made that happen. Well, my name is Lily Bellinger, and I'm one of the student ministry interns here at Crossroads. I have a couple updates for us, but while I'm giving you my updates, we're gonna take an offering, so I'm gonna invite our ushers up. Don't be shy about giving while I'm talking. You can dig through your purse, your wallet, your neighbor's wallet. Give like you've never given before. So my first update is that there's a wanted poster in your programs this week. Seriously though. We're looking for the best adult leaders to lead on our students and kids team. So if you're interested in that, even remotely curious, please join us at our leader roundup on August 19th. That's a Wednesday at 6 p.m. There's gonna be free food. Yes, you heard me, free food. And free childcare, so please join us for that. Second thing is that if you're interested in getting baptized, baptisms are happening here at Crossroads on August 22nd and 23rd. Hands down, baptisms are the best thing that we do here at Crossroads. I'll never forget when I got baptized 4 years ago, right over here. Thanks. And it's awesome. So if you're interested in that, there's gonna be a short meeting right after service up here at the right side of the auditorium. And my last thing is that this summer we took 10 of our students to CHIC, which is a nationwide youth conference in Knoxville, Tennessee. So we're gonna check out and see what happened.
Well, good morning. My name's Lena Arkaki. I'm the student director here at Crossroads. And like Lily had said, we were lucky enough to take 10 students to CHIC this summer, and we have a bunch of them here, and we're just gonna kind of recap our experience there at CHIC. So just watching that video, I get super pumped. I get reminded of how amazing that week was. Could some of you guys elaborate? What was CHIC? What is CHIC?
Well, CHIC was a week-long conference at the University of Tennessee. There were over 5,000 students, and during the days we would go to base camps and just learn about God, and during the day we would play and have fun and just enjoy each other's company. And then during the night times we would have like concerts and have special speakers, and it was really great.
All right, so you said that in the morning you guys went to base camps. So base camps were these things where all the students would hear from keynote speakers and then break out to different seminars to learn about various topics. Could you guys share some of the different seminars and the things that stood out to you from base camp?
So we went to a lot of different base camps. There was upside down, inside out, backwards, and upstream. Upstream is one of the ones I'm going to talk about. If you guys saw in the video, they were carrying blue jugs, and those were actually filled with water, and that was called Project Blue. And what that is they told us about the lack of water in India and other countries and how they have to walk several miles just to get clean water. And so we actually got to interact one of their experiences, and we had to carry those jugs, and they weighed about 40 pounds. and we couldn't let it touch the ground because if they did, it would get dirty. So we had to act like they would, just getting clean water. And I think that opened a lot of our eyes, realizing how difficult it is for them to get clean water and how we don't even think about it. We could just walk to our kitchen sink and fill up a glass of water, but they have to walk several miles just to get a clean bucket for themselves. And then another one is one that the girls went to. We actually heard this lady, and she talked about how women shouldn't be ashamed of themselves or their bodies, and that we're stronger than we think we are. And then after that, the girls just went and sat in a circle and talked to each other. Not a lot of us knew each other too well, but we really just opened up to each other and trusted each other with what we were saying, and that was really cool how we were just able to all open up to each other.
So alongside that, as she said, there were speakers, and I went to one, and it was about ministry. And what really, I've been looking into, God was just calling me during this trip, and the ministry one showed me that ministry isn't just about being on a stage, being a preacher. It's actually everywhere you go. As you live your life, you're with your family, friends, in your work, you are ministering for God, you're serving for God, and that's just one thing that one of the speakers was talking about, and she talked about what it was and everything, and that's one of the ones that I loved.
One of the ones I went to was led by a guy who does a lot of missions work, and he was talking about when they would go to a place, he realized that making connections with the people and treating them like they were human and not less than them meant more to them than the work they did in their community, and that relationships with them is a good way to start relationships with them to God. So that one meant a lot to me.
One that I went to was a panel that was about what it's like to be a Christian and an introvert. All in all, it was you don't talk a lot as an introvert, but when you do, people value what you're saying, and you can do that to spread God's word.
And Seth, do you want to talk about one of the creative seminars you guys got to sit in on?
There's one that we went to, and it focused a lot on music and art and drawing and ways you connect to God through your artistic ways. When I went in, we sat down at a table that had headphones, and we made a playlist describing our walk with God. And then we also did one where they colored in the Bibles descripting what they just read to help them build a firmer stance on what they did read.
Awesome. Well, every night we went to this thing called Main Stage, and there was a great speaker, great music, and a national musician leading a crazy concert. Could you guys share about some of your Main Stage experiences and takeaways from there?
So Main Stage was always at the end of the night where all 5,000 plus students would come and just gather and worship, and it was one of the coolest things ever just to see how much people could get into it and just to see the different ways people express themselves to God. And I always thought that most worship music was really slow, but some of it was actually pretty pumped up, and to see everyone get so excited over it was pretty cool.
So on night 3, For King and Country came, and it was just an awesome experience. But something that really stood out to me was their passion for empowering women and for respecting them. And I actually got a rusted Australian penny, and this symbolizes that if women feel like a worthless penny, if they feel like they just aren't deserving of anything, that God thinks of them as priceless and that they are something worth so much more than this.
So the theme of the entire week was shift, from the base camps to Main Stage, from the speakers to the seminars. What are some of the shifts that you guys can share with us that God challenged you that week?
So as I was saying with the ministry thing, God was calling me to be a leader. Being one of the oldest guys on the trip as a student, I just saw him calling me to be a leader, that maybe someday I'll work in a church, which could be this church, would be awesome. But also, it's just the shift I've made coming back home. I've been a lot more happy. I can be more positive in what I do. Even when there's negative things around me, I try to bring positivity around that. And I think the shift in God trying to bring me into the leader as myself is what's bringing me to be as happy as I am. So,
Emily, can you share your shift?
I think my shift and my whole kind of theme for the whole week that God had for me and kept just kind of pressing into me was just love and like self-worth to go along with that, and just a feeling of I struggle with not feeling loved and not feeling like I'm good enough for people, and having a father that left me when I was young plays into that a lot. And I think that God really from the trip and until now and continuing in my life, God has just kind of made me stronger in that area and helped me kind of fight the enemy attack that's been happening in my heart, and just showed me that I am loved.
Ben?
So the shift I heard God calling me to make is I can treat people pretty badly sometimes. And on this trip, I really started to realize that everyone is a child of God. Like, no matter how much they're bothering you, they're still a child of God. And you don't get to pick and choose who you're nice to. And because, like, God created everybody. And before this trip, I hadn't really thought of everyone as a child of God. And on this one, I just realized that everyone is special to God, and I should treat everyone like with respect and kindly.
So my shift was bringing it back, and what I mean by that is my passion and fire definitely grew a whole lot bigger than I thought it would while I was there. I'm the only one in my family who knows God and comes to church, and that's sometimes hard on me, to not be able to express how happy I am here to my family because they don't understand. And so for that, I wanted to bring back that passion and put it in other people. I wanted to help other people's fires grow and show them to God, and basically show them that a life with God is a happier life.
Let's give it up for these students that gave up a week to go to Chick. Good job, guys. Well, welcome to Student Takeover. So excited that you're all here this weekend. I don't know if you noticed, but there are students serving in every area this weekend in this service. And I just want to point them out. There were kids singing on stage, students playing instruments, students on camera, students up in the tech booth, students taking the offering, students outside greeting and at the doors. But I want to do a special shout out to special ministry. The kids ministry actually loaned us a whole bunch of our students back this weekend so that we could do this. And on a normal weekend, the kids volunteer team is made up of over 40% of our middle and high school students. So thank you, kids ministry, for sharing our students. Well, once again, my name's Lane Arakaki. I'm the student director here at Crossroads. And just a little bit about me before we dive in today. I'm not from here. I'm actually born and raised in Hawaii. I don't know if you can tell. I'm kind of repping. But I grew up there. I went to high school there. I graduated. I attended the University of Northern Colorado out in Greeley. I studied there, and I graduated from there. And I got hired right out of school. And for the past 7 years, I've been working for the Thompson School District as a public school teacher. So that's... And teachers go back next Friday. So anyway, last week I had a really great opportunity to fly back home and officiate a wedding for some friends that I have. And I don't know if you know this, but there's no direct flight that goes from Colorado to my island. So I have to take a couple of trips and make a couple of layovers. And my last leg of the trip was from LAX to Hilo, which is where I grew up. And this trip is a 5-hour flight. It's kind of long. And I've done my share of flying, so I'm pretty prepared. I pack my carry-on with a book that I never read, and lots of paper to draw and doodle, and I usually bring like papers to grade or something that I'm working on. But usually what happens is I get my seat, I put my stuff away, I put my earphones in, and I pass out before we even take off. Well, this time it was a little different. I got my seat, which was the window seat, which is the best seat because you can lean against the side of the plane. And as I'm getting ready, I find out, I meet the other people sitting in my row. And in the aisle seat is this woman, and she's traveling with her kid, a young boy, and in no time at all, he tells me that he's 5 years old, and he's really excited to be on this plane. And it was at that point that I realized I am definitely not reading my book. I am not gonna be doing anything productive on this flight. And I was still kind of working on the talk that I'm giving today. So I was a little discouraged, and I realized that in this moment, I had a choice to make. I could make this a 5-hour game of trying to ignore this kid and get my own stuff done, or I could engage with him and play with him and acknowledge him, and when he's staring at me out of my peripheral, I can actually look at him and smile. And that's what I decided to do. So we're sitting on the plane. I still have my phone out. People are still boarding. I still have reception, and I'm on Twitter because that's what I do when I'm bored. And so I'm going to share with you a couple of the tweets that I posted while I'm meeting this kid. So if you take a look at the screen, we have some of them. Sitting next to a 5-year-old on the 5-hour flight. He's waving around the wings pin he got from the captain. He's going to stab me in my sleep. The 5-year-old sitting next to me on the plane is hilarious. 5-year-old, do you have a girlfriend? No. Did she kick you out? When you're 5 years old, everything is a drum set. He just declared to the entire plane that he is tired. Cross your fingers. 5-year-old, that's my mom. Her name is Amanda. What's your name? Lane. Well, you're not my dad. My dad's name is Jason. Cool. So, I'm sure you know that. I didn't make that up. That's directly from a 5-year-old's mouth. But during this time, I was able to play with this kid, but I also got to know his mother a little bit better, and I found out that she was not only traveling with him alone, she was traveling with her 2 other daughters who were sitting a couple rows back, and they were traveling back to Hawaii from a trip to New York where they visited some extended family. And I realized that she's probably been with these kids for a very long time all by herself, and it was the least that I could have done to amuse her kid and play with him. And now, this flight was only 5 hours long, and by the time he fell asleep, we were pretty good friends. He even tried to share his headphones with me, and I didn't need that, but it was only 5 hours with this kid. And when I thought about it, I have a lot more time with a ton of other young people in my life outside of this airplane. And we should all be willing to give a little of our time to a kid. And it's simple, really. We should feel a little obligated to, because we were all kids at one point. And it's not just those of us who are parents, it's all of us who are old enough to make a difference. We're called to show up in the lives of the next generation. And that's why this week, some of us will ride a bike, bake a cake, throw a party, throw a ball, laugh out loud, make spaghetti tacos, play in the rain, tuck someone in, read a book, sing a silly song, change a diaper, do a dance, maybe the nay-nay, I don't know. But if we're honest, sometimes we actually wonder, does it really matter? Does it make sense? Why do we do these things? Why do we make silly faces to the strange baby in line at King Soopers? Because the gift of our time is much more valuable than it seems. And that's why what we do this week and every week matters. Because over time, we're making a permanent imprint on the soul of children. We're leaving a legacy, and we're playing for keeps. And it's time we get serious about what we do with our time. A lot of what I'm sharing today comes out of a book called Playing for Keeps, and it talks about 6 things that we can give kids over time. There's time, love, stories, words, tribes, and fun. And I know it's the end of summer, and we've all played, we've all taken our trips, we went on vacation, we went to the games, we went to the park, we went to the pool. But I want to tell you, don't stop. Don't stop the fun just because summer is over. Fun is important and necessary to our relationships. So this is a quote from the book that really grabbed my attention, and it's up on the screen. And it says, "You can't make a kid love God, have faith, or care about what matters, but you can give them fun over time." So why the fun? Because fun over time makes friendships go deeper. And that's why it's important that we actually play. And when I say play, I mean play, like play ball, play games, play hide and seek, play catch, play make-believe, PlayStation, play room, playground, Play-Doh, all those things. You can figure it out. One of the most effective ways to stay connected to someone, anyone, is to have fun with them. And what do I mean by fun? Pretty much anything that entertains them, that makes them laugh, that makes them enjoy life. I'm sure you're thinking, really? Anything? Well, no, not anything, because You should probably leave out some things like blindfolded driving, or sticking forks in electrical outlets, or launching bottle rockets from body parts. If you are the grown-up, you need to be the responsible one. You need to use that thing called common sense to filter out a couple of things, because there are some things that kids should not do because they're not safe, or they're not age appropriate, or they're just not a good idea. But we need to be careful that the don't list isn't taking over the do list. If you want to invest in a young person, try to give students a bigger list of do's than don'ts. And we need to actually act like fun matters because it matters to them. Give them choices and let them know what they can do instead of always telling them what they can't do. And I'm sure you've told a kid before, hey, don't touch that. And what do right away? They try to go, yeah, touch it. Kids and students were created with a drive to play. It's built right in. Just like dogs and dolphins and squirrels and unicorns. God, yeah, Daniel's listening. Obviously, fun matters to God so much that he's put it up all over creation to remind us to play. I mean, think about the dog who constantly brings the ball back so you throw it after you've done it 19 times. You were made to have fun. But if you're like the typical grown-up, somewhere along the way, we've forgotten how to play. We grew out of it. But let's face it, most of us are concerned with kids screwing up and making mistakes than we are with them having fun. But what if it's time to stop taking ourselves so seriously and start being serious about having fun? God certainly seems to take fun seriously, so serious that most of the time when he wants us to focus on our relationship with him, he tells us to sing, to dance, to celebrate, to eat, to drink juice, and be joyful. There's a slide up on the screen, and the word fun may not be in the Bible, but all of his friends are. May the righteous be glad. Rejoice in the Lord always. There's a time to dance. Celebrate a festival to the Lord. A cheerful heart is good medicine. Worship the Lord with gladness. The fruit of the Spirit is joy. They ate together with glad and sincere hearts. However many years anyone may live, let them enjoy them all. Basically, we were created and told by God to enjoy ourselves, each other, and everything else God has made. I mean, it's no different than what God did when he enjoyed creation. He actually modeled the idea for us on the seventh day when he stopped and rested. Now, if you think that after 6 days of hard work, God just took a nap, you might want to reread the story because he simply enjoyed his creation. And that's what we're invited to do as well. Every day, every week, sometimes we need to just stop working our busy routine and enjoy what he's made. There was a study that was done that warns about the dangers of play deprivation, especially in young children. And as a result of 30 years of research, it was found that it's crucial for kids and adults to keep playing. It goes on to say that the opposite of play is not work, it's depression. And they go on to claim that when you use neuroimaging techniques that show what parts of the brain are being activated, nothing lights up the brain like play. There was another study done by a psychologist and play therapist, and he claims that play is where children show us the inner feelings and experiences that they can't or won't talk about. We need to hear what they have to say, and they need to share it. That's why we have to join children where they are on their terms. So in other words, as grown-ups, play actually opens the door for our relationships to go deeper with kids and teenagers. So we need to start having more fun. And remember that it's okay to have fun just to have fun. Because we were made to have fun, and we're made to have fun together. Now, fun isn't a waste of time. Fun over time can make your relationships go deeper. Fun over time means consistently making fun part of your relationships with someone. With your kids, with your teenagers, with your nieces and nephews, with young people, with all people. Fun over time. So here's what fun over time can do. And this is where your notes start in your program. So you can pull that out and fill in the blanks. So the first one, fun over time convinces kids that you actually like them. Think about it. Like, I'm sure your kids know that you love them, but do they feel like you love them? Before they can feel loved, they may need a little convincing. They need a little evidence that you like them. And sure, there's lots of different ways to show love, but one of the best ways to prove it, having fun. Second one, fun over time reconnects what has been disconnected. Playing with kids breaks down walls. It can repair damage in the relationship. Playfulness is actually one of the best ways to deal with anxiety or tantrums or sibling rivalry or even teenage behavior. When something has come between you relationally, fun could be the bridge that rebuilds the trust between you. Moving on to the next one. Fun over time fosters resilience. Life is hard. And if we want our kids to grow up and push through heartbreak and tragedy and disappointment, we need to make sure that they have a collection of fun memories to fall back on, to assure them that life goes on, that the joys of living and laughing and loving together far outweigh any pain that might come their way. Having fun together helps us keep fighting for a relationship, even when it's difficult. It helps us to keep growing, to keep caring, and to keep loving. Fun over time authenticates forgiveness. I like this one. Fun over time authenticates forgiveness. Fun may actually be the best way to prove forgiveness to someone. I mean, how easy is it to have fun with someone if you're still offended by something that they said or that they did? Remember, it's hard to fake forgiveness with kids. They see right through it. They test us. They know better. They're smart. And they may not believe that we've really forgiven them until we've taken the time, the initiative to have fun with them again. I mean, we can learn a lot from kids. They seem to know how to make fun a priority. They're also quick to forgive and move on. They know instinctively that fun is more important than holding grudges. A couple years ago, I was still teaching elementary school, and this would happen all the time. It would be recess out, and there would be two kids playing at the playground, and in a moment, they'd be fighting. We'd hear screaming, and there'd be this fight that breaks out between them. I hate you, you're not my friend anymore. And one of them storms right off. And then 2 minutes later, you turn around, and the two of them are back together again, playing as if nothing had happened. I mean, how do kids do that? They were enemies a few minutes ago. But it's pretty simple. Kids choose happiness over righteousness. Kids choose fun over being right. And as grown-ups, we need to take our cue from these kids and start acting like fun matters. There's this movie from when I was a kid. It's called Hook. I don't know if you've heard it. But in it, Robin Williams plays Peter Pan. But he's not the adventurous, daring, fun-loving Peter Pan. He actually is playing Peter Pan all grown up. He's an adult who's preoccupied with adult issues, adult responsibilities. And in this scenario, he is a dad with kids, but he's forgotten how to play. And in a bit, we're gonna watch a clip from the film, but I'm gonna set it up first. So in one of the early scenes in the film, Peter snaps at his kids for interrupting a business call. He screams at them and kicks them out of the room. And then he's talking with his wife. And his phone rings again. And this is where the clip starts. So check it out.
I'm sorry about your deal.
You hated the deal.
I hated the deal, but I'm sorry you feel so badly about it. Your children love you. They want to play with you. How long do you think that lasts? Soon Jack may not even want you to come to his games. We have a few special years with our children when they're the ones that want us around. After that, you're going to be running after them for a bit of attention. So fast, Peter. It's a few years, and it's over. And you are not being careful. And you are missing it.
So now I love Peter Pan. It's one of my favorite stories. But I don't think I got the point when I was a kid. The point being very simple. If it can happen to Peter Pan, it could happen to any one of us. Peter has simply grown up and forgotten how to play. And as a father, he's missing out on some of the most critical years of his own kids' lives. I'm the oldest of 3 boys in my family. My younger brother, he's pretty much my twin. He was born before I turned 1. And I have another brother, and he was born when I was 13. So there's a pretty big age difference there. But when I had graduated high school and moved up here to go to college, I was pretty devastated that I won't be able to hang out with my youngest brother and play with him anymore. And because of that, I've become extremely grateful of the other adults who showed up in his life to have fun with him when I couldn't be there. Like our grandparents, our aunties and uncles, other kids' parents, some of his teachers, his coaches, his church leaders, even some of my friends that were still back at home showed up in my brother's life. Now, if you're one of these adults who spends time with other people's kids, remember that fun matters. You're helping kids build a healthy play history, and what you're doing matters so much to that kid. Now, I know that not everything in life is fun, but we have an opportunity every week to make something fun. So here are 4 play habits. There might be 3. I think there's 3 play habits that we can all practice to have a little more fun this week. So the first one is loosen up. Yeah, loosen up. A lot of us take ourselves way too seriously, and that's why one of the first things we can do is to let go of a few things, like our image, our ego, our pride. We have a chance every week to show kids and teenagers that we care more about them than what other people think about us. We show them we care when we let ourselves be vulnerable enough just to have some fun. So we need to loosen up. So we can loosen up by moving more. Literally, move more. Maybe one of the reasons why grown-ups have lost the drive to play is because we spend a little too much time standing still or sitting down. I mean, if you're having a bad day, why don't you just jump up and down? Random jumping, you'll feel much better. Jumping activates your play drive, so maybe you should just jump up and down when you don't know what else to do. If you don't want to just jump up and down, you could do other things like running, dancing, playing a game, other activities that put your body in motion, but we need to start moving more. We can loosen up by laughing more. Everybody immediately knows that laughter means that someone's having fun. When you laugh together, it means you enjoy being together. Some people even think that laughter may be the quickest and most effective way to connect to someone. So we need to laugh a little bit more this week. Loosen up by playing more. Now, I know play will never be urgent in your weekly schedule. I mean, if you're a grown-up, you're probably more concerned with how you're gonna get everything done this week than how you're gonna play. You might be thinking about work, you might be thinking about not having work, you might be thinking about how you hate work, whatever it is, the list goes on and on. And if you're a parent, man, you're probably more concerned with laundry and homework and when does school start and all those other things. That's why we have to plan to play. In a book called Playful Parenting, the author suggests to parents to make a conscious transition from work or whatever else we're doing to play, to change into play clothes, to set a timer for half an hour, and then during this time, to give your child 100% of your attention. No phone calls, no preparing dinner, no texting, no Candy Crush. As grown-ups, we need to set aside time to play. And one more thing about loosening up. Sometimes we won't feel like it. We might be tired or frustrated or upset, and the idea of laughing and jumping around and moving is gonna seem like the last thing we wanna do. But fun doesn't have to be a feeling. When we choose to have fun in spite of our feelings, we may end up feeling a lot more fun than we thought we could. Here's a second play habit. Learn what they like. If you wanna make something fun, it needs to be fun for them. Makes sense, right? Sometimes as adults, we make the assumption that because they're younger, they need to learn from us. But we also need to create a playful and engaging atmosphere in order for them to learn. So if we really want kids to learn, we need to learn what they like, and we need to tune into their laughter. What are they laughing at? If they're laughing at something, it's a really good clue that they think it's fun. And let them choose. You don't have to plan an entire fun day or a fun weekend in order to have fun. Sometimes the best thing we can do is to make ourselves available. And then let them lead us. Listen to their stories. Kids and teenagers probably don't begin their sentences with, "Hey, I really like to blank." But if they do, that's a really big clue that they like doing that. And if you listen to the stories that they tell, we can pick up ideas about what they enjoy and what they don't enjoy doing. But we need to also remember that young people may not even know what they like, especially with young 5-year-old children who fly on airplanes. 5-year-olds may not know that they like Candyland until you play with them. 7-year-olds may not know they like hiking until you take them with you. And then also, what we like may not be what they like. This is especially true with teenagers. Teenagers have already discovered their style of fun, so we need to make sure that we don't force it on them. What they like may also not be what we like. So we need to stretch a little. We're the adults. We can learn something new. Learning what they like is going to show them that because we love them, we're going to stretch and learn something new because we want to make it fun. And so the last one, lose the agenda. As parents and adults, we probably have an agenda. We always have an agenda. We want them to be polite, to love God, to make good grades, to clean up after themselves. But if we're honest, it's a really, really long list. And it gets shorter as they get older because we just start prioritizing the big things like don't smoke, don't have babies, don't drop out of school, only drive when you're sober. But no matter how long or how urgent this list is, there may be a time where we need to choose to set it aside for the sake of fun. So a couple years ago, I was leading a life group of high school guys, and one of the guys had stopped attending. Now, I knew he was making some unwise decisions in his life, and he stopped coming to church because he didn't want to feel judged. But here's the interesting thing. He still liked hanging out. He and I would meet from time to time at Starbucks, at a school game, at a church retreat, pretty much anywhere he knew he would have fun. And during those times, I didn't talk about his decisions. He knew what I thought. And sometimes he'd bring it up and we'd chat about it. But at that point in his life, I knew it was more important to have fun and stay connected than to remind him of something that he already knew. Now, I'm not suggesting that fun is more important than rules, because kids and teenagers need that too, but I'm saying that there might be some times where it's more important to value the relationship by having fun together. We need to get serious about having some fun if we want kids and teenagers to get serious about what matters. So everybody needs to write. So on the back of your note sheet, you should see 3 different silhouettes. On each of these figures, I want you to write the name of a young person, of a kid or a teenager, or even one of your friends, someone that you want to take your friendship deeper. Write a name on each of those. And then try to list some things you can think of that each one of them likes. Go ahead and write it down. Because what you do this week to make it fun is going to matter to those people. Now, it's not that fun is the most important thing, but if we don't have fun, there's not much room for anything else. And if you love kids but we don't play with them, they may not feel like we love them. If we give teenagers advice and stories that are boring, they might not listen or care. And if we belong to a team that never laughs, when they grow up, they may not want to be part of it. So whatever we do this week, make it fun. If you want to build trust or have a lasting influence or establish a deeper connection, you have to make fun a priority. Because fun over time is one of the best ways to connect to the heart of a kid. Would you bow your heads with me? Father God, I just am so thankful that you have made a world that constantly reminds us to enjoy and to play and to have fun. I just pray that this week we will look for those opportunities to make things more fun and more engaging for the people in our lives. I'm just so thankful for the joy of young people that just flow out of them, and I just pray that we can all pick up on that. And I'm just excited for this week that's coming ahead. God, that you just bless everyone in this room. In your name I pray, amen. So I want to ask you all to stand. We're going to try and having some fun today. So this is your first chance. So we have a song. Put your hands together.
Waking up knowing there's a reason. All my dreams come alive. Life is for living. With you, I've made my decision. You lift me up, fill my eyes with wonder. Forever young in your love, this freedom's untainted. With you, no moment is wasted. See the sun now bursting through the clouds, black and white, turns to color all around. All is new in the Savior I have found. This is living now. This is living now. You lead the way, God, you're right beside me. In your love, I'm complete. There's nothing like living with you. This life you created, I choose. See the sun now bursting through the clouds, black and white, turns to color all around. All is new in the Savior I have found. This is living now. This is living now. You take me higher than I've been before. It's your perfect love that sees me soar. Got your freedom, it's an open door. You are everything I want and more.
So maybe I don't really know what living is. Is it love? If it was, am I living it? Do I live in it? So astounding. Love is an ocean that you can drown in. Sweet embrace, a lovely taste. I tea and lady, legend, place to be. Means I'll never need an umbrella. I'm cool in the cold and the hot weather, I never ever understand. I'm a man in the hands of great plans. I stand in faith and the life I've never known to touch. But still I sign my clutch, but I'm like, what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? And it's no end. This is living. The life I've been given is a gift. If I'ma live it, I'ma live it to death. So what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? And it's no end. This is living. The life I've been given is a gift. If I'ma live it, I'ma live it to death. Yeah.
This is living now. You take me higher than I've been before. It's your perfect love that sees me soar. Got your freedom, it's an open door. You are everything I want and more.
Now, was that fun? Was that fun? If God spoke to you today, raise your hand up real high. Look at that. Awesome. Hey, aren't you proud of all of our students here at Crossroads? Let's hear it for them. Come on. Let's thank Lane Arakaki. Awesome, Lane. You know, if you want to have fun, I would say the next thing to do, if you're a follower of Christ, be part of baptism. August 22nd, 23rd, short meeting right down front. How you can declare your faith in Christ publicly. Get it done this August. And then I'm going to pick it up right after Lane next week.